Good morning, everyone, and welcome back. We are on day 3 here on Snowdrop Tundra. I'm going to go ahead and apologize in advance. I'm not feeling the best today. You can probably hear a little bit in the way that I'm talking. So my throat's a bit scratchy. If I have to take a drink in the middle of the episode or pause for a second, I apologize. It's just kind of something I'm dealing with. Hopefully it'll pass in a day or two. But just wanted to let you guys know what was going on before we get into it, and I have to stop mid-episode. But we are going to start off with 20 diamonds, which is a fantastic way to start the day. That is a great morning surprise. And we did get 16,973 sneaky snacking while we slept. A lot of that from the Raichu that we have on the team. I don't think that's going to put us to grade 2 just yet. No, not yet, but we should be there after breakfast. So hopefully we can get to that grade 2 and swap out that Raichu for something else we want to level up. We did get 100 sleep points, which puts us to 16,862 sleep points. Almost back to the 17,200 we need, but not really a big concern because we do know that we have that big bonus point or sleep point bonus coming towards the end of the holiday event. In session 130, let's get into the sleep report and see if we got anything interesting. Slept for 9.5 hours, quite a bit. A lot of dozing sleep. Apparently, I was tossing and turning earlier, throughout the night. Only 34% snoozing and 43% slumbering, but I'm almost certain that's going to be a dozing sleep type with that much. As expected, we did get dozing sleep. I know I don't think we even got 3 million yesterday. Maybe we can get at least 8 today. No, only 7,876,000, which isn't bad. We still got a 3-star out of it and several 1-stars. Let's see, we got 2 bell sprouts. One of those I think no, I had them both before. Thought the one on the bottom was one that we had or didn't have, I mean. So no new sleep styles. We did get a Mankey, 2 bell sprouts, a Krogunk, and a Gulpin. Yeah, this rooted sleep for bell sprout I thought was new, but I guess not. So let's see, is anybody hungry? No one's hungry. That is unfortunate. Let's see. I honestly kind of feel like getting a better Krogunk is not the worst priority right now. I have a pretty decent Bellsprout. I could use a better one of those as well. I'm kind of leaning towards the Krogunk just because we don't have the most reliable oil production. I mean, we can get a decent amount with that Ditto, but as I found last week, while it is decent, it's not as reliable as I would like. But I'm also not 100% sure that Krogunk is the most reliable oil gatherer, so I'm gonna have to do a little bit of research on that one. I do, however, know that Bellsprout, once it makes it to Victory Bell, is actually a pretty solid tomato gatherer, I think. But I think you know what? We do have the shiny Krogunk. I think we are going to worry about the Bellsprout. Just the +3. Which that is unfortunate. I was hoping for a big hit, but it is what it is. Not every feeding can be a big or a mega hit. So we'll just go ahead and move on. Send out, let's send out some Bellsprout candy. If I can tap the button. All right, so we did get 402 research XP, which is not too bad for for a Tuesday sleep and 722 dream shards. And speaking of dream shards, one thing I thought about yesterday that I didn't mention in the video, I believe it's called the luck incense, which doubles the amount of dream shards that you get for your sleep research the next day. Hold on to those if you need some dream shards. I'm thinking that the holiday event is going to be a really good time to use those. That should give us quadruple the amount of dream shards for your sleep research. So it'll be really beneficial to use towards the end of the week during the holiday event, and because we already get a pretty decent amount. I think a lot of times I see like 3,000 or 4,000 dream shards towards the end of the week in one sleep research. So having that doubled and then doubling it again should be a pretty substantial boon to your dream shard collection. Let's go ahead and move on and start. Another 600 sneaky snacking. Always happy about that. Ooh, free Eevee candies. Come here. I need more Eevee candies. We didn't get enough during the holiday or the Eevee week. We have no new news, but we do have that cool looking banner right there from the holiday event. No medals. So let's just see about our community reports. Only 40 of them, which kind of makes sense. I did collect 6 not yesterday. I just cannot words today. I collected 6 reports yesterday when I was trying to send a friend request to somebody. So that makes sense that we didn't get the normal amount. We did get 1 level up and 1 link cable. And I forgot to check and see how many of our community reports doubled. I'm just not here today, I guess. So let's check with the Blastoise. That is pretty substantial. On the Coco, not as much milk as I would like, but the Coco is definitely a huge boost. Only 1 milk from the Eevee, which is unfortunate. And then did these 2, I'll check those here in a second. We did get a skill trigger on Venusaur, so that's another 8 ingredients. So we got some filler, a couple more milk too. A few more milk it looked like. I am curious if either of these triggered a main skill while building up to a full inventory. It does not look like it. Let's go ahead and refill their inventory really quick. And then let's get to making some breakfast. We should have what we need. Yep. We have what we need for the sweet scent chocolate cake, which is what we are going to try to focus on this week. I actually didn't even stop to think if we have enough ingredients to fill the pot. I'm not really worried about honey as much, because we do get quite a significant amount from the Venusaur. So we can use that honey to fill in the pot. Too much tossing and turning is exactly what I did last night. That did give us 6,877 strength on that sweet scent chocolate cake. So hopefully that will put us into grade 2. That's all we really need. There it is. There's grade 2, which is our first goal for the week. There is, I think it's Master 1 or 2 that unlocks the second sleep style for Absol here. But that is a long ways away, if I remember correctly. Now I'm starting to second guess on whether it was Master or Ultra. I'll need to double check on that. If it's Master, that's a long ways away and almost surely not going to get there. So I think we just kind of go with the 1 sleep style and hope that the Absol shows up. And in the meantime, probably going to swap out this Raichu for someone else. I'm not exactly sure yet who I want to swap it out for. But before we get into that, I did want to... I've seen a few people in the comments ask how you're supposed to use the calculator that I use specifically in relations to reading the outputs. So I did want to go ahead and give you guys a breakdown of how that works. First things first, let me show you. So if you are on the Raenon website, you can click on this tab right here. I know you can't see my mouse for some reason, but on the left, right under Pokédex, there is a tab called Documentations. So if you click on that, it pulls up a whole list of documents that you can read on how the calculator works, how they come up with their calculations. There's a subscription intro, user settings explainer, skill value, trigger value, how to use skill trigger analysis. But specifically the one that we're looking for is how to use Rate My Pokemon. You can go in and there's a bunch of information here. I'm not going to read all of this today. I'm just going to give you guys the basic breakdown of how to read the results. And they have provided this helpful little infographic here on how to read the results that you get on the calculator. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up one of my Pokemon, and I will also pull up this infographic on the side so that you can see both at the same time. So I'm going to pull up one of mine. Let's see, who do we want to pull up? Let's go ahead, Raichu, why not? So we go down here and we can see my specific Raichu's calculations. So what we're looking at, we're going to look specifically at level 25. So I'm going to expand this here. So what we want to look at is at level 25, the PR or percentile rating is 92%. So that means you want this number as high as possible. So this means that out of 100%, this is a 92% Pokemon. This is the main number that I look at when I'm evaluating how good a Pokemon is in the calculations. The other numbers do help, but they're just more to kind of flesh out a bit of the story, or the whole picture, I should say, rather than just a quick reference. I use this number here as just a quick reference of how good they are compared to everything else. And this number here to the right, that's got the up or down arrows plus 40.64% on mine, is the relative strength, and you want this number higher. The higher it is, the better it is. So this is the strength difference between the given one, which is our current Raichu. Stop locking. Our current Raichu and a Raichu that has no subskills or nature set. So if this number is a negative, that's very bad. But if it's the higher the number is, the better. This one is 40% better than just a true neutral Raichu at this level. Then we have an AB rank. So what the AB rank is, it takes all the possible combinations of natures and subskills up to level 25. And then tells you what rank out of those combinations this particular Raichu is. At level 25, Raichu has 3.4 thousand possible combinations. This one is the 276th best. So this number we want lower. If this was 1 out of 3.4 thousand, then it would be the best possible Raichu you could possibly have. But it's only 276. So it is very good, it's just not the best. And then when we move on to this next number to the right, this 44.04%, that is the percentage, and this is the one I don't quite understand, so I'm going to read this one a little more in detail and see if I can figure it out real quick, because I don't really look at this number hardly ever. Higher is better. Limited standalone functionality for evaluating Pokemon. So even the Raenon calculator is saying don't use this as your sole metric for how good the Pokemon is. How good is your Pokemon's daily strength production compared to some of the best and worst cases? So this is saying that I think it's taking into account all of this information here as well. It's saying that it is, if this is 0 at the bottom, then up here at the top is 100%. this right here, which is our current Raichu, this middle spot, is in the 44%, 44th percentile. So it has a long way to go to be at the top, which is 100% here. So I believe that's how you're supposed to read that. Again, like I said, this is the part that specifically this number is the one I don't quite understand exactly yet, but I think that's how you're supposed to read it. But when you get down into these, which all you have to do is click this little thumbs up and down button to get these to show up, what it's telling you is that this is the best possible combination you could have for a Raichu. And this is the output you would get, 27,736 per day. Adamant Nature obviously is the best for a berry gatherer. So for our Raichu, that's what we want. And then it shows you the best possible sub skills, which is helping bonus at level 10 and berry finder at level 25. I don't think it really matters which one is which. It might, just because having helping speed may be more beneficial early on than berry finder is early on, simply due to how the math works out with the Pokemon's gathering frequency versus bringing in an extra berry at a slower rate. So maybe it does matter. I'm not 100% sure which one is at level 10 and which one's at level 25, but either way, you want helping speed and berry finder S. Helping speed, right? Nope, helping bonus, sorry. And then this one with the thumbs down is the worst possible combination for a Raichu, only bringing in 12,258 strength per day. And that would be a modest nature, which is ingredient finding up and speed of help down, because that makes it to where you're just not finding berries. You're finding ingredients more than berries, and your speed of help is down, so you're finding them not as fast. With the sub skills Ingredient Finder S and Ingredient Finder M at level 10 and 25 respectively, that is the worst possible combination for a Raichu you could have. And again, this is going to change whatever Pokemon you're looking at. We're just looking at Raichu for this example. So if this is the worst and this is the best, this one here in the middle is what we have. So what we have is 19,074 strength per day with a docile nature, which is neutral. And then we only have one of the two perfect sub skills, and it is in the right slot, but we also have skill level up at level 10. So that's part of why it's not ranked so highly, but also because of the neutral nature. But I believe that is pretty much the gist of how to read and understand the ratings that you see. You could simply just look at all this and only ever look at the PRs. I think that's a perfectly valid way of looking at it. It is more, I've seen people use another Pokemon Sleep calculator, and that one doesn't break down individual levels, and it doesn't give you as much information like all of this here as the other calculator, as this calculator does. But you could absolutely just look at these PRs at the different level breakdowns and have a perfectly good understanding of what your Pokemon's going to be. Now keep in mind, you do want to switch up what you're looking at based on the Pokemon specialty. So if it's an ingredient specialist, best case scenario is to look at ingredient strength or ingredient count. They're typically pretty similar numbers, so either one is usually fine. And then if they're a skill specialist, obviously you're wanting to look at skill trigger value to see how often their skill is going to be triggering. The higher this number is on skill trigger value, the PR rating, the more often that skill should trigger. And then the same, I typically use ingredient count to look at ingredient specialists because I want to see more of how many ingredients are coming in versus how much strength we get from the ingredients. But that's up to you. That one's a personal preference between those two. And then total strength is what you want to look at for a berry specialist like Raichu. But that's pretty much how to read the outputs that you get from the calculator. And I do want to switch up to, what is it? The Espeon 97%. It defaults to a skill trigger value because it is a skill specialist. I think most, if not all, of the Pokemon should be programmed to default to whatever calculation is going to be best for their specialty. So let's throw out Venusaur. It is an ingredient specialist, so it defaults to ingredient strength, and we can see the ratings of this Venusaur here. Same with going back to the Eevee, because I did want to look at this. The same with, excuse me, the Eevee specialist and the skill trigger value as the default. And then if we expand here, we can again see how close to perfect this Eevee is. But that is the gist of how to read the outputs from the calculator. If you do have any questions, please feel free to throw them in the comments. I will try to answer them the best I can. And if you have any further questions that I can't answer, or you just want to read it for yourself, do go to the documentation, look through all of these. I'm still going through a lot of them, but oh, I didn't even notice this one was here yet. Sneaky snacking versus always full pack for berry specialist. Probably a good one to read up on. We did talk about that, but I'll have to check that one out. But like I said, how to rate my Pokemon, reading rating results, does have a lot more information than what I covered here today. So perfect example here. So feel free to go and read them. Please do if you find anything interesting. I hope that this has helped you out immensely. That is the plan for all of this. I want you guys to be able to understand not only what you're looking at when you're using the calculator, but also to understand what I'm talking about, because I do kind of typically just blow through the results pretty quickly in the videos just to not get hung up on them too much. But that said, hopefully that has helped you out. If it did, be sure to hit a like on the video to let me know that you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see more. And until next time, later dudes.